Hello, and welcome to Developmental Talent. Your ears are about to be crammed full of the most action-packed wrestling podcast on the entire fucking planet. And it's exclusively on FreakSugar.com. Now, here's your host, hailing from parts unknown, Lemon Juice McGee.
Welcome back to Developmental Talent, the FreakSugar-exclusive professional wrestling podcast, where we cover the ins and outs of pretty much everything in the squared circle. With me tonight is the fighting man, Matt Pierce.
What's up, guys?
And our resident wrestling historian, Hoagie Masters.
Always glad to be on the show.
That's right, just three at the table. I'm Lemon Juice McGee, and we're going to kick things off tonight with an interview we did with Ring of Honor's Matt Sydal, hashtag reborn Matt Sydal.
Yeah.
At the beginning of it, in the audio, you're going to hear some static. That is from the wind, or a cell phone, or something disturbing our microphone horribly. You're then going to hear me totally fuck up a question about Matt rehabbing his foot. We're just going to say that I was very tired. Does that sound about right? I mean,
we were going on like hour 14 or something about that time. So
yeah, it was a long one, and we had just witnessed 4 hours, not 14 hours. 14 hours would have been awesome, but it was 4 hours of Ring of Honor, standing outside in the rain, in the dark, waiting to get these interviews. So yeah, I totally fuck it up. Beyond that, at the end of it, you're gonna hear. I don't even know how to describe it, really.
Awesomeness
is a way. The utterings of a madman, as Mark Briscoe decided to join in on the interview towards the finish there. So that pretty much sets it up. It's not a long interview. We're looking at about 3 minutes. But hey, there you go. Ring of Honor's Matt Sydal.
And now it's time for a Developmental Talent exclusive interview.
Lemon Juice McGee here for Developmental Talent. Here talking tonight with Ring of Honor's reborn Matt Sydal. What's it like being back in your own stomping grounds?
And I have a lot of history in Ring of Honor and a lot of history in this Nashville Fairgrounds, the old asylum. I used to get kicked out of this place when I was 18 years old. I would show up every Wednesday with my bag and ask to wrestle. Sometimes I'd wrestle. Sometimes Abyss would kick my ass. Sometimes they'd kick my ass right out of the building because they didn't have anything for me. Well, tonight I came back. Everything came full circle, and I was so proud to be out there, man. I mean, the energy level, like the level of ecstaticness is at ecstasy level, and it's silly, but man, it means a lot to me.
So after you broke your foot, right? Mm-hmm. What was it like? What was it like? Have you been training? This is horrible.
So let me tell you about breaking my foot and what it did to me.
There you go.
So it's real simple. My entire life, my entire career has been based on agility, athleticism, and being able to hot foot and fleet of foot every single other person in this industry. When my foot broke, I was faced with something that I've never been faced with before, an inability to out-wrestle every single person because I had a broken foot and I couldn't move. What it forced me to do was decentralize the way I think and the way I approach professional wrestling, this industry, what I do inside the ring and outside of it. It forced me to see things from a whole new perspective. It forced me to think more creatively and completely outside a different framework than I ever had before. And being forced to think outside your normal framework has actually expanded the realm of possibilities, and that's why you get such new creative work in there from me, because I've been forced to analyze everything completely differently. I'm a completely different person, and it's only been for the better.
Well, it's 2015, new year. What's your goal for this year in Ring of Honor?
Well, I mean, it's simple. Ring of Honor Television Champion, then Ring of Honor World Champion. And if you want to sprinkle in the Tag Team Championships in between, but you better believe it, I came here to be a player in this company. I came here to main event shows, and I came here to wear gold. I mean, I think it will look pretty good. I mean, my tights are set up in this particular way that the belt rests just right. You know what I'm saying? I got it set up. my blood is in this company, man. My heart's in it, and you guys see it every time I go out there, and I'm gonna have a lot to prove for it. And the best part about wrestling in Ring of Honor is being able to witness the Briscoe brothers.
Good evening.
With that, we're signing off from Chicken and Matt Sydal. Much peace and love.
The Figure 5.
Hey, it's time again for the Figure 5, our weekly top 5 list. Sometimes funny, sometimes serious, always wrestling related. Usually semi non-nude. It can go really either way with all of it.
It's a true story.
It is a true story. What do you got for us this week, Matt?
The top 5 WWE/F debuts.
Top WWE/F debuts.
Yeah, because a lot of those guys did debut in WWF.
Okay.
So
In the World Wildlife Fund.
yeah, fighting pandas. they saved the panda bears from the Iron Sheik.
Gotcha.
Yep. First up at number 5, we have the Radicals.
The Radicals.
This was a group. Actually, it was pretty big because WWE didn't really get a lot of guys that came to their show. You know, they had a lot of guys leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the Radicals is really the first guys, like he had Benoit, Malenko, and Saturn. These guys were pretty,
Guerrero.
And Guerrero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Guerrero.
These guys were all going to be, well, except for Saturn and Malenko. But Guerrero and Benoit would wind up being world champions. Benoit actually was a world champion in WCW. He's a full horseman. And it was a really good get for the WWE. Even though it was toward the end of the Million Night War, it just showed you kind of why WCW lost. They let that talent go. I mean, that talent pool of Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn and Eddie Guerrero.
Because they treated them like shit.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
I
they
mean,
did.
and it wasn't like they were overly shitty on them. It's just that they were picking these very seasoned veterans over top of them for all their main event stuff. Well, to a point. Benoit was the one that had kind of broken out.
Yeah, Benoit ended up winning the world title. Eddie, they didn't really know nothing with. Eddie actually went on camera and told Bishop that he wanted out of his contract.
Yeah.
On Nitro, Saturn, they made him wear a dress
And then
for a while.
Yeah, they did that feud with Raven where he broke all his fingers or something.
Yeah,
It was weird.
stupid.
It was. Of course, WWE gave Saturn a mop and called it Moppy. So
And
That was classic TV.
Moppy.
I love
that was
Moppy.
classic Attitude Era. Mae Young hand birthing
Yes.
perfection. Also, the Radicals I remember because they set them up as being in the front row,
Yep.
as
Just like the NWO.
kind of like the Scott Hall
Yep.
Kevin Nash thing, where they're like, "Oh, these guys aren't supposed to be here. What are they doing here tonight?" And
Not granted. Some of the guys they do a lot with, like we mentioned, Saturn and Moppy. Malenko, I think, wound up stalking Lita.
Yeah.
yeah, but he went on to. I mean, as far as career wise goes, I mean, he went back on to be an agent.
Yeah.
currently or
He's,
whatever.
he's still employed.
Yeah.
But and the two big were Guerrero and Benoit. I mean,
Yeah.
they were the cornerstones of the company for a long time. Next up, though, at number 4, we have the Milan Miracle, Santino Marella. The Samoan bulldozer, Umaga, or Umanga, as Regal called him, was just tearing people up left and right. And they were doing Raw from Italy, from Milan. And Santino was just a guy in the crowd. He said, I'll fight anybody. Well, he fought Santino. And with Bobby Lashley's help, Santino Marella won the Intercontinental title off of Umaga.
Yeah, this was I believe it was a few weeks after WrestleMania 23. Vince had just got his head shaven and everything, and
It was all just going in the crapper.
And
Since apparently in Milan, they don't have any of the insurance rules we have here in the United States, where anyone in the crowd could fuck it, get in the ring.
oh yeah,
well, as long as they're wearing wrestling boots, you know. You show up to the arena in wrestling boots. I feel like there's a 5% chance.
I mean, if you paid for front row, I mean, it's a lot of money. Maybe that entitles you to like a title shot.
in Vince's mind,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, I mean, he showed a lot of promise, and actually went on a pretty good run. Even almost winning the Elimination Chamber a few years back.
Yeah, and Royal Rumble also.
And the Royal Rumble also.
Came down to him and Del Rio in the 2011 Rumble.
Yep.
Well, I will say, as far as all of WWE's comedy acts goes, I feel like Santino is the only one that successfully has pulled it off. Like, even in those, like the network shows, where it's just talking heads over like a list. Anytime Santino says something, just the accent he utilizes for his character, it's hilarious. Just his mispronouncing words and he's done it for so long. I don't see how he just doesn't speak like that on a regular basis.
I bet he does in real life. I bet he messes up like at McDonald's. I feel
like you'd almost have to mess up at McDonald's. I feel like anytime you're recognized, you'd have to go into Santino mode and like be.
Well, it's like Tajiri. Tajiri supposedly speaks perfect English, which you'll never hear it unless he's drunk. So, but yeah, that was number 4. At number 3, we have the man, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. He debuted in 1991 with the big gold belt.
Yep, which the NWA was not too happy about because Flair, the big gold belt was recognized as the NWA title at the time, and Flair got angry at the WCW management and decided to leave and take the belt with him.
He told him to eat it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so they threatened NWA threatened a lawsuit against WWF, so the belt had to be like pixelated every time Flair wore it out to the ring.
Like on Cops?
Yeah.
So they were trying to pixelate his dick.
Yeah.
It's like Flair comes out nude every time, which at the time he may have possibly done it at some point.
But then they built him as the real world champion.
Yeah,
he was the real champion.
Bobby Heenan would always call him that.
Which would never happen today. You would never have Bobby Roode show up, the TNA belt, even if he had it, show up that belt, and Vince be like, "No, our belt's not the real belt. This is the real belt." Which at the time,
but it was more like it'd be like if Bobby Roode did that and Paul Heyman came out with him and Paul Heyman said it was the real championship.
That's true.
It wasn't like Vince and them claiming it was the real world.
And at the same time, it's Ric Flair.
Yeah. And at the same time, it kind of was the real world. It was the NWA.
Yeah, it was the
NWA.
Yeah.
It meant a lot more at the time than it does now.
Well, Ric Flair himself meant a lot more. I mean, he still means a lot to the business.
Yeah.
But Ric Flair in his prime was wrestling for a long time for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, as far as in that decade goes, I mean, as far as a handful of guys, and it's like, like we talked about before on the podcast multiple times, Ric Flair wasn't. I mean, he was flashy. That's kind of what he was known for. Yeah. But he wasn't like Macho Man flashy or Hogan like overly. But at the same time, it's like him and Hogan were like two sides of the coin.
Yep. Well, it was like where Hogan's flashy and then he could wrestle a little bit. It was Flair could wrestle. Mm-hmm. And he was flashy, but the flashiness was secondary to his wrestling.
Yeah,
like that's why he's the man. I mean, that's why when you get chopped in the wrestling ring anywhere in the world, even in New Japan, when we saw it, people yell "woo." Doesn't matter where you are, because Ric Flair would chop you.
Sure.
Yell "woo."
We didn't say a lot of face flops though. I feel like more people need to face flop, Flair style.
Have you ever face flopped?
No,
I have.
Have you?
It feels horrible.
Well, that's the punishment Flair put his body through for you.
That and
for your entertainment.
That and flipping the turnbuckle. I wish more people would do that. That's awesome.
And elbow dropping your coat.
Yes. Yeah. You got to shove those close to your business.
Yeah. And owning shoes that cost more in people's houses.
That's right.
Okay, but that was number 3, Ric Flair. Number 2, we have the human suplex machine, Taz. He debuted in 2000 to take on the undefeated Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle, with hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's how heavily Taz was touted when he first showed up. It's like they took him from ECW. They just gave him new music.
Yeah,
like he just came straight out.
Prior to this, there was a few weeks of just the 13 flashing on the screen.
Yeah, with his tattoo.
Yeah, with his tattoo on it. Yep.
The orange and black, and that was one of the first. Taz was one of the first guys when I was watching wrestling that I had watched enough of like ECW and stuff and was on the internet somewhat enough to know like, oh, that's Taz is coming. I was aware, quote unquote, inside info that's Taz, And then he comes, they give an extra Z in his name, and they let him wreck house
Yeah,
on Kurt Angle.
Beat the undefeated Kurt Angle with a move that Angle said was an illegal move, the Taz mission, which is a chokehold.
Yeah.
It's a judo choke. And Taz, for a while there, was just tearing ass through WWE. I mean, he defended the ECW title with Triple H once.
Yeah, he won the ECW title and defended it while he was in WWE.
Yeah, yeah.
And beat Triple H.
Beat Triple H, yeah.
Taz has beaten Triple H. Later, as his stint went on in WWE, you wouldn't believe they let him beat Santino.
Well, I think he had aggravated neck injuries.
Yeah.
And the Taz now, he's still good to mic, but he's a shadow of what he used to be. Like Taz didn't used to be funny. Nothing was funny about Taz. Taz would fuck you up. That's what Taz does.
Have you listened to Taz's podcast?
No.
It is fantastic.
Is it?
Taz, I'll give him that. We put on a podcast. Taz put on his first episode of his podcast with Edge.
Uh-huh.
It is great. It is great.
Cool.
I highly recommend anybody give it a listen.
And I wasn't trying to undercut the guy. He's definitely still great in a mic. It's just that he's had to evolve himself over time to be like a smart-ass, badass type guy. Whereas at one point in time, Taz didn't say anything, and he would just kill people. He broke Sabu's neck. So, then we are, before we get to number one, we have an honorable mention, Gail Kim. Who actually debuted and won the women's title in a Battle Royal in 2003.
So that's kind of a big deal, debuting and winning your title.
Yeah.
Paige did it recently, but it's weird now with debuts with WWE because they're already in NXT.
Yeah.
Everybody, they don't really bring in surprises.
Well, another problem with Gail Kim, the reason she's not on the list, and same reason she wasn't last week on the actual list, she's more an honorable mention, she didn't have quality opponents. I mean, this is at the time when they were kind of phasing out a lot of the women's division that they had. It was toward the end of Lita and
So
Trish.
it was going from the women's championship to more of the divas.
The divas, yeah.
Yeah, because there for a while when they first... There was a... I mean, now it's getting back to where there's a lot more wrestling.
Yeah.
But there for a while, most of the divas appeared to be just models that they gave a little bit of training to.
Well, yeah, like Maurice.
Yeah.
Maurice, beautiful, but she couldn't wrestle, really. I mean, she kind of could, but, I mean, compared to like Mickie James or Victoria or Gail Kim, it's just... And then they had a wrestler. They had a Karma or Awesome Kong. Things happened, but, yeah, that's why Gail Kim's not on the list. Not a knock on her, just more of a knock on the fact that she was the best one there and she didn't really have a chance to shine as much.
Yeah.
Before we get to number one, let's go ahead and go back over the list. Number 5, we got the Radicals. They debuted in 2000. Number 4, we have Santino, debuted in 2007. Number 3, we have Ric Flair, debuted in 91. And number 2, we have Taz, who debuted in 2000. Number 1, we have the guy who, when you think of debuts, I almost guarantee you think of this guy. It's Chris Jericho.
Y2J.
They had so much confidence in him, they let him interrupt The Rock. And Jericho went from being like a guy in WCW who was basically a mid-carder to interrupting The Rock on Raw.
And that's the thing, he interrupted The Rock. The Rock came at him on the mic, and Jericho gave it right back.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, The Rock asked him who he was, and then he said it didn't matter who you were, but Jericho gave it every bit right back. And there were signs, Raw is Jericho. Ever since then, Jericho has been huge.
And his build-up was kind of like Taz in that it was longer, though. As in, it was weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of
the countdown. It was just
the
a countdown.
Yeah, it was a countdown to the new millennium.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y2J. Jericho was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and it's really cool that a company would be so willing to get behind somebody like that. Somebody who's unproven, really. I mean, and he came out and he could have messed it up, and right down to Velocity he would have went, and he'd never been anything.
Yeah,
been on Sunday Night Heat.
Yep. But he didn't. They it's like Vince said. Sometimes you give somebody hold up the ring for somebody, you gotta grab it. Jericho grabbed it.
Yeah, yeah. And now he's this classic guy who can come back anytime. The fans are behind him every time.
And his comebacks are awesome. Remember the Save Us Y2J thing? Like they went like he was hacking through the Raw, and then he shows up and clotheslines Randy Orton's torch runner.
Yeah. Or hell, the last time where he came back and didn't speak for weeks on end.
Oh, yeah.
It was annoying as shit, but it was still interesting.
Yeah.
They had the videos with the little boy and little girl about the end
Oh,
of the
yeah,
world
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And
Yeah. And we were all thinking, Undertaker? What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sting? Like,
Jericho.
what is this? Jericho
Jericho in his Van Halen jacket.
Jericho busting whiskey bottles on CM Punk's head.
Yep.
That was an awesome feud.
That
That was awesome. Jericho was like a cornerstone of wrestling, man. He's, in my opinion, best Canadian worker. That includes Bret Hart, who's also Canadian.
Does that include Christian? I think you forgot about Christian.
Christian.
You don't like his face.
Oh, like his hair.
You look like a rat.
Concussion Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it includes Christian and Edge. And the Fabulous Rojos. Yep. But that's our list. It's number 5 is Radicals, number 4 is Santino, number 3 is Ric Flair, number 2 is Taz, and number 1 is Chris Jericho.
There you go. Figure 5, top 5 biggest WWE/WWF debuts.
This week in wrestling history.
Well, it's 2015. This is the year that Back to the Future 2 said we would have flying cars and all dress fucking weird. But you know what? It's not like that at all.
Well,
we all just
I
sit.
have a flying car.
You have a flying car?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Have you been sniffing glue again?
Super glue.
No. We all just sit and look at our phones and watch wrestling. Speaking of wrestling, this is a segment where we look into the past, the history. This is This Week in Wrestling History. And Hoagie Masters is going to tell us what went down. And there's a common theme this week, I believe.
Yeah, there's actually 2 common themes. WCW and titles getting vacated.
Somehow, those do sound like 2 things that go together.
You know, if you look at the dictionary, bad idea, WCW and vacate titles are all synonyms.
Yeah.
I feel like WCW's probably in there a few times.
Yeah.
For various purposes.
Yep.
The first one we're talking about wasn't so terrible, but still. Rick Rude this week was forced to vacate the United States title due to an injury. He had held the belt for 419 days.
For those of you counting, that's longer than a Honky Tonk Man was Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, that's a pretty good while. He vacated the title, which set up a match between the then number 1 contender for that title, Dustin Rhodes, who most people know as Goldust. He defeated Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to win the vacated United States title.
So I'm just blown away by the fact that at one point in time, WCW had essentially a mid-card that consisted of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Dustin Rhodes, and Rick Rude, the sexiest man alive.
Yeah.
Now, was this Dustin Rhodes? Was this during the time that he had the fight in the back of the truck?
This was a little bit before that. He was going that route. He was the natural Dustin Rhodes. You know, he
He's
had
still
the
a
cowboy
cowboy.
boots. You know, he's trying to be like Dusty and everything. So, moving on from that, we're going to get into some crappy stuff. Towards the end of the Monday Night Wars, both of these title vacancies occurred on the same night.
2 title vacancies, same night. WCW, same show.
Yeah. This was also a pay-per-view.
Send the crowd home happy.
Pay-per-view, yeah. This is one where you want to pay for those tickets.
Yeah.
It was WCW Sold Out 2000. The first title vacancy was with Jeff Jarrett.
Now, Sold Out, was that an NWO pay-per-view?
Originally, this was after they had the.
They never let it go.
They had the silver and black NWO.
Oh, okay.
Which was the Harris twins and Jeff Jarrett and like Big Papa Pump
and
like Buff maybe.
No, it was Jarrett, supposed to be Bret Hart, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash.
Bret Hart, who never wore NWO stuff ever, he just wears Hitman stuff.
Yeah.
He had to vacate the U.S. title. He got injured by, it was a diving headbutt that Benoit did on him. It messed his head up or something. Don't know exactly the deal on that. That's what I was reading on it. He was forced to vacate the title, but he got awarded the title back the very next night.
Okay.
Because Kevin Nash and Terry Funk had a match during the show to determine the commissioner of WCW.
Oh, I remember this. And Nash was hitting the heavy guitar, and he thinks he's Batman. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all. But in my head when I think Kevin Nash versus Terry Funk, oh man, I don't know who has the worst knees. But
Yeah.
Well, at the time, it was Funk. Because Nash, at one point in time during the match, tells him if he can even stand up, Nash will just say he wins the match. And Funk couldn't stand up.
Now, was this like a hardcore match?
Essentially.
I mean, it's a Terry Funk match. I feel like it's got to be.
Yeah. So Nash was the commissioner, and Jarrett was in NWO with him. It's like, here you go, here's your belt back.
So Jarrett got it vacated. He got it pulled from him because he was hurt from a headbutt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That night. But the next day, he's like, oh, I'm better. Give me my belt
Nash
back?
was like, no, I think Nash was like, here, you're my friend. Here's your belt.
Later on, though, it gets even better because later on, Jarrett hits him with the guitar. Nash winds up being in a wheelchair for a while, and then he wakes up and they tell him he's a commissioner. He's like Commissioner Gordon? Where's Batman? And he had these two nurses, and he kept on calling one Robin because he thought he was Commissioner Gordon. It was awesome. Or horrible, whichever way you want to look at it. But
Which Jarrett was supposed to fight Chris Benoit
Okay.
that night. This leads to the other title vacancy.
Okay.
Bret Hart was the WCW champion. The previous month, which we've talked about on the show before, when he got kicked in the head by Bill Goldberg, that injury caused him to have to vacate the title on this night. Due to Jeff Jarrett not being able to compete, they threw Benoit in the WCW title match.
Okay. So it's Benoit versus...
Sid Vicious.
the master ruler of the world?
Yeah,
okay, so you had Bret Hart, who couldn't have the title.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett, who had it but couldn't defend it.
Yeah.
So
No, Jeff Jarrett had the U.S. belt.
the U.S. belt.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
he couldn't defend it.
So the world title was vacant.
Yeah.
So they Benoit versus Sid.
Yeah, so they had that match. Benoit ended up winning the belt.
Okay.
The next night, the belt was vacated again. Due to, which we talked about this in the Figure 5, Benoit went to WWF.
With the Radicals.
With the Radicals.
I think Benoit said that he threw the belt in a trash can.
Yeah.
He probably never did, but...
I believe when I was researching this, Kevin Nash won the WCW title the next night on the
Well,
show.
For the umpteenth time.
I mean,
Yeah.
in fairness, he was the best man for the title.
Oh, yeah. And I said, this is what went on the last year of WCW.
Before they finally handed it over to Booker T.
Yep.
Nash also at one point in time was hazing the new blood with a cricket paddle. I remember. He was like whacking him in the ass with it. But he put a chair in front of it so he wouldn't really hit. It was weird. Nash at this point in time was in charge of the whole company. And so he was just doing whatever he thought was
Yeah.
funny.
So he was just like spanking Billy Kidman.
Yeah. He was interviewing like a cardboard cutout of Scott Hall. And had a little button in the back of it. He'd push it. It'd say, hey, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Scott Steiner beat up a duck.
Scott
Do you
Steiner.
remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hate ducks. And he was hitting it with a fucking lead pipe or something.
Tony Schiavone's on there. Kill the duck. Kill him.
fucking Tony Schiavone hates nature. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a documented fact that Tony Schiavone, he hates everything. Everything natural about this world.
He does.
That's helicopters and mansions.
And money.
Yeah.
And cookies. Apparently, because his wife bakes cookies.
No, he likes to bake his wife and then make cookies out of her.
Cold-hearted son of a bitch.
Shout out Tony Schiavone.
So basically, this week in wrestling history kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, hey, throughout time, this week, belts are just getting tossed away.
During my research for this, I noticed the next week though we have some pretty decent things to talk about. Some Royal Rumble stuff going on and everything like that. So it should be an interesting topic then.
Awesome. All right, well, that's it for this week in wrestling history.
TNA Minute.
This is the TNA Minute. Yep, that's right. On Developmental Talent, TNA gets 1 minute until they do better. They're currently on Destination America that none of us can really watch. So we've stuck around, see some stuff. Let's talk about TNA. What do you got, guys?
Bobby Lashley ended up winning the, now Impact Wrestling World title. I guess
From Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
That's stupid. What else we got?
Austin Aries, greatest man alive, is now the X Division champion.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Awesome Kong returned.
Yes.
So that was a surprise, I think, for everybody and a welcome addition to their Knockouts division.
Yeah, can't wait to see her in Havoc. It's going to be awesome.
Jeff Hardy also fucked himself up.
Yeah.
He's like he's not dead.
Yeah, they were recording Lockdown. He gets knocked off of the cage door and lands head and shoulders right on the stairs. It's insane. You can see the video pretty much anywhere online recs are. And hey, that right there is the TNA Minute.
Keeping it raw.
Yep, it's as raw as you can get around here. Like grossly raw. Like when wind touches it, it hurts because it's so raw. Or something. I don't know. That's kind of nasty. This is the part of the show where we cover Monday Night Raw. If you couldn't guess, it's a wrestling podcast. It says Raw. You should put 2 and 2 together. Last week, totally fucking skipped. We watched Ring of Honor live. The next night we watched the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 9 from Global Force Wrestling import. I skipped Raw simply because I didn't want it to ruin the awesome wrestling weekend we had. Plus, we got the highlights this week as soon as the show came on. And the highlights were Ryback, Eric Rowan and Ziggler getting fired because the Authority are back. And that was it. So, luckily we skipped those 3 hours. Sadly, sort of, we watched these 3 hours. Not 3 hours worth of shit to talk about, though. The show kicked off with... God, how did the show even kick off?
Cena come out first and said a bunch of stuff, and then Authority come out.
Oh, yeah. Cena come out and said a bunch of whiny stuff.
Yeah.
And then the Authority come out.
Yeah, and they were like, if you want to get your friend's job back, all you have to do is win your match tonight.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, oh, is it a 10-on-1? Is it a 20-on-1?
Yeah.
I'm going to suck a dude's dick. And they're like, no. That's all been done. It's just a one-on-one match. But it's a lumberjack match.
Yeah.
And then and it's against Seth Rollins, and he comes out, and he's all like, hey, part of my hair is blonde, and I got this briefcase, and he's got J&J security. Then the lumberjacks come out. It's like every heel they have, plus Justin Gabriel.
Yeah.
Plus Paul Bunyan, an actual lumberjack.
Yes. It was weird. There was Fandango out there. There was Curtis Axel, who made his way up from NXT to be a lumberjack. He's got a lot of TV time, though, so I'm down for that. But yeah, Justin Gabriel amongst these guys, much corporate Kane, amongst Big Show, there's Justin Gabriel. Why does it work? I don't know, but on Twitter, Gabriel put that he hates them both. Fuck it, he's lumberjack.
Yeah.
So I can't fault the guy there,
I mean, yeah, maybe he actually is a lumberjack. I mean,
maybe.
They get confused. He's like, I'm a lumberjack.
He's a, what is it, a darewolf or... I forget.
Remember.
It was something weird. But he has those cool fucking skeleton tots.
Yeah.
Yeah, JBL.
Yeah, he took from La Parka. It's awesome. And John Cena didn't win. Big Show knocked him out, threw him back in the ring. Seth Rollins pinned him. Done. Seth Rollins beat Cena in the opening match on Monday Night Raw. Which
that's beautiful.
It should be a big deal.
That's beautiful.
It should be like a huge deal.
Yeah.
But it kind of wasn't compared to something we had been waiting on all day. As on the WWE Network, later on TMZ, then on WWE.com, it was all like 99.99% confirmed. Macho Man Randy Savage was going to be announced as a Hall of Fame inductee for the class of 2015. However, the most ignorant... they show people imitating Macho Man, which kind of seemed disrespectful in a way because the people were so fucking bad at it, almost like they were making fun. It was kind of stupid. there were all these Macho Man vignettes where all the superstars were doing "oh yeah" impersonations horribly, and they all know how to do it. Fuck. like what wrestler hasn't done a Macho Man impersonation?
Yeah.
And they were doing it and kind of being so goofy with it and comical. It was kind of bullshit, I thought. However, I'll give it to Roman Reigns and The Miz. They both did it well.
Pretty good.
And actually John Cena.
Yeah, Cena did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, the only guy that should be imitating the Macho Man is Jay Lethal.
That's
Jay
true.
Lethal, Black Machismo. Yep.
Yeah.
Best Macho Man impersonator the WWE's had, CM Punk.
Yeah.
He had the tights. He had the elbow.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it's a guy.
He had
And
the attitude.
Yeah. Hogan's inducting him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's sort of like, hey, your brother, Lenny Poffo, he can induct him.
I think he's like accepting.
He'll probably accept the award.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He'll accept. I mean, none of us know them. None of us personally know Hogan or knew Macho Man, so we don't know necessarily what their actual situation was. But from what I've heard from, say, Lenny Poffo in various interviews, even from what I've seen on the WWE-approved Macho Man documentary, I feel like Hogan might not have been the best choice for that. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, he's shit. A lot of people are really, like, up in arms about it. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, for them, yeah, they're getting one of the biggest stars they ever had to induct another one of the biggest stars they ever had.
Yeah.
And they were part of the Mega Powers together. I think they should have just took a better route and done Ricky Steamboat as his inductor.
Yeah.
That guy's well-spoken. He's still around. People know who he is. I mean, they had possibly one of the best matches in wrestling history. Well,
it's like, it's really funny, too.
And nobody hates Ricky Steamboat.
No.
He's, like, universally loved.
No. But it's really funny how, like, just like with Warrior, Hogan's like, oh, no, we made up. Mm-hmm. Just before he passed, we made up. Mm-hmm. No one saw it but me and him. But we're best friends now.
Yeah.
It's really. I mean, you can say that once, Hulk. It's kind of like, all right, yeah, fine.
I mean, like you said, Steamboat. One other name that hit me that I could possibly see them doing is DDP. Where I've seen on documentaries, Macho Man really liked working with him.
Well, Macho Man shows. I remember that the one with DDP where he's talking about. Well, there's a documentary where DDP talks about Macho Man is the one who's like, I want to take the diamond cutter and like let Page go over on him and like really push him, and they had those street fights and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was a wonderful feud between the two of them.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because it was WCW is why they did it.
Yeah, that could be. Because I noticed on the vignette they played for him getting inducted and everything.
There was only like one or two shots.
Yeah, there was very little. It was mostly WWF.
Yeah. I think the only time they really showed WCW was where he was wearing like the black and silver. And it was just real. It was like a real quick flash. They didn't even show the person interviewing him.
Yeah, you don't really see the Gorgeous George Macho Man with like the backward driver cap and the mesh shirt.
They didn't show that at all.
Yeah, they don't acknowledge it.
No.
Probably because Gorgeous George has went on to do other things.
And Medusa's in there too.
And Medusa's in there. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That.
But I liked that Macho Man too. Like I feel like Macho Man is one of those guys that reinvented himself really well.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember an interview around that time of a wrestler who fought Macho Man, and he was like, it's always a challenge fighting Randy Savage because the first 4 minutes of the match he thinks he's in a real fight. And it always struck me in my mind that, like, man, that's awesome.
Mm. But we're talking about all this and him getting inducted. The thing is, WWE still didn't say he was inducted until they put up a picture of Macho Man and the Hall of Fame class thing and put, I think it was rumored induction tonight or possible induction tonight.
Yeah.
Why would you even make a graphic of that? Just say we're inducting it. We're going to announce it later. Just say we're going to definitely announce the thing later. Why to put possible announcement? It blew my mind. It's so ridiculous.
You know, when I found out about it, it's sort of like, to me, it feels like the WWE is sort of like at an end, not like an end of the company, but like Macho Man's the last big name for their Hall of Fame. Sting was the last big guy who never wrestled for him.
Well, they've got a couple more big names for Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You got Taker, you got Sting.
Yeah, Taker and Sting. But like Macho Man was like the guy.
Yeah, Macho Man's the guy everybody's waiting on.
Yeah. Sting was like the last guy who wasn't going to wrestle for him. Now you got Global Force Wrestling that's going to be big. Yeah. Impact Wrestling could be big. Ring of Honor could be big. It's like
New Japan.
Fucking
Wrestle Kingdom, man. If that doesn't open more venues for them in the U.S., nothing will.
Right.
Jesus.
But it's like WWE is going, and I'm not saying that this is happening like right now, but it's like it's no longer the only thing around, and it's no longer like the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's the oldest one. Maybe. I don't know if it's older than New Japan. I'd say it probably is.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's losing kind of its status, I feel like.
Well, I think that the WWE can... The route they're going works best for them. Mm-hmm. And the people like us who... I don't know. It's almost how I would describe, like, the people complaining about the new Ninja Turtle movie or any of that. It's not for you. It's not for you anymore. Yeah. Like... It's for the younger people now. Like it's for it's to gain the other fans that they haven't gotten yet. Like for us, yeah, we can go watch Ring of Honor. We'll be able to watch Global Force soon. You know, we can watch Lucha Underground. We can watch all these other shows and have a great time with wrestling. You know, we don't have to get just our entertainment value from WWE, which then lets WWE last longer for us because we can watch it and like, oh well, we know it's not our only outlet for it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those people who, I don't know, like, it's tough to describe. It's not really like people who don't like wrestling, because, I mean, there's still a lot of wrestling on a WWE program.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of just filler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? But you need it. And to be successful and put out that many hours of TV, you know, some things. I don't want to be like this doom and gloom on WWE thing. But I think it's kind of like comic books for me. Like, it's getting to that point where it's like, I know that, like, I love superheroes. But there are very few superhero books that month to month are on my read list. Like, I have to read that book. Like, the Batman DC title is one of them, you know, and Daredevil and the She-Hulk is getting canceled. There's a few books like that like, I really love. But for the most part, I've worked my way away from that, you know, to, like, Image indie titles and stuff like that, and Arcade and Dark Horse, and it's Marvel and DC will be there for me if I want to pick them up, but I get most of my enjoyment from other stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But for the day to day, most people are going to know they want to read Iron Man. You know, like that's
or Superman.
Yeah, that's what WWE is. Like they're the mainstream thing that helps pull in people who then can discover Ring of Honor and discover GFW and all this other stuff to where they're going to be interested in moving up as they go. So there's a spot for all of it. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to not harp on it sometimes.
Well, I think it's becoming really obvious that WWE is sports entertainment and it's not wrestling.
Yeah.
And before, like, oh, well, that's just, he's saying that to get all licenses and stuff. But now it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
That when you have your top 5 up-and-comers of the year, one was a fucking bunny.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
well, you can tell the difference, too, between... I mean, and the thing is, the sports entertainment aspect is there in everything. I mean, it's in there in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
It's there in NXT.
Yeah.
Finn Balor's entrance is extreme sports entertainment.
Yeah.
Like the most sports entertainment thing of the year, practically, even for WWE.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's also so much pure wrestling and less story that it becomes, you know. Yeah, the WWE proper is very much more of that.
Yeah. Speaking of sports entertainment, something else that I've noticed is they're putting the Ascension over like Demolition and the Road Warriors. And,
Well, also, as they showed tonight, they're having the Ascension say they're better than Demolition and the Road Warriors.
Yeah. And then destroying like little like nobody teams.
Yeah, well, and I almost think they should have done that from the get-go, like they with Ryback. But they didn't. They started him out with Mizdow and fucked it all up.
Yep.
Because the crowd wants to cheer for Sydal anyway.
Yeah.
They might not want to cheer for Miz. Yeah, I want to see him get his fucking head taken over the clothesline. But you don't. They needed to put them up against a straight tag team that people just want to shit on. Put them up against Los Matadores and have them just kill the bull, you know.
Yeah. Against the Usos. Well, the Usos kind of have a thing going on.
Yeah, the Usos are over. Well, the tag champs. They couldn't have them tear them apart. But I feel like, that the Ascension should have said, we're better than the Usos.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I know they're comparison to the 80s wrestlers because what they're trying to show is, we're like an 80s tag team and we're better than all them, though. But it's like, they might want to start comparing themselves, we're better than the Dust Brothers,
Yeah.
Which they're not. They're not. I'm sorry, Ascension. But you're not as good as Gold Dust and Stardust.
Is that what that team's called? I still don't know what the actual name is.
No, it should be the Dust Brothers, though. If it's not, it should be the Dust Brothers.
This is Gold. Awesome. I think this is Gold and Stardust.
Yeah. No, the Dust Brothers is the perfect name.
Yeah.
Tonight we found out some more names for the Royal Rumble match. Which Daniel Bryan, he said not only is he going to be in the Royal Rumble, he is going to win it.
Yeah, he came out last week and said he was going to be in the Rumble. This week he came out and said, last week I announced I was in the Rumble. This week I announced I'm going to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I believe that because I kind of feel like that's their only option.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I understand you want Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar or whatever your plans are. That was before Bryan came back. If you don't want them booed out of the building like Batista and Rey Mysterio last year, that you have to have Bryan win that fucking Rumble.
Yeah.
Even though Bryan doesn't even need to win it. He should just be able to fight the champ. He should already have his belt back, I feel.
Yeah.
He should have fought Brock tonight on Raw, got his belt back. There you go. Then the belt's on TV every week. You can have Rollins fight him, you can have Cena fight him, fucking who cares?
He had the reign he should have had.
Yeah.
And then in a year from now, Roman Reigns, if he's ready, then he can fight somebody at WrestleMania.
The problem is, I understand WWE don't want to be predictable, so they're not going to want to do the Cinderella story 2 years in a row. But unless they're just going to, fake that he's hurt again and have him get his ass kicked, like Triple H kill him in the back before the Rumble so he can't even enter it, and then Sting shows up like, well, you can't do that, and then everybody forgets about it. But I don't know what they're going to do. I feel like no matter what they've written, the fans are going to write that for them.
The only other person that could win it right now, in my mind, is Ambrose. Maybe Ziggler, although it'd be a waste on Ziggler because they don't even know what the hell they want to do with Ziggler.
Right now, he's quote
fired.
Unquote fired.
Yeah.
Speaking of, they brought that up a lot about just talking about how Cena just let those fucking guys down.
Well, he did.
That they're just at home, jobless.
You know who else he let down? Nikki Bella. She wants a baby.
That's true. And he's not giving her
He's
one.
not giving her a baby.
Nope.
However, you know who might give her a baby? Tyson Kidd. Who
That's right.
the Divas, they're doing this thing. They had a Divas match. It doesn't even matter. But Tyson Kidd, not only was he wearing this wicked t-shirt that was covered in cats wearing sunglasses, but he had a Nikki Bella necklace around his neck. And he was apparently on the ring apron doing some distracting shit. But it was because he was looking at Nikki or I don't know. It was a whole thing. But apparently they're going to tease some type of I don't even think Nikki Bella though is into him in the storyline. It's just he's got this weird he's working up this weird infatuation with Nikki Bella. And I think that could be awesome.
It could lead to a really cool backstage segment where John Cena's like, look, dude, come here.
It could be. Yeah. It could be John Cena beats his ass, and it could be Natalya beats her ass.
Or Natalya beats John Cena's ass.
It could be.
Maybe Natalya just wants to tie him up and do dirty things to him.
I doubt that. Natalya seems like the most milquetoast, white bread person on the planet.
They did the sex therapist thing.
Yeah.
Where they tried some new stuff.
Oh, yeah?
I actually watched that episode
the other
day.
On season 2 of Total Divas. No, he dressed up like a burglar to break in their house, and she was a dirty schoolgirl. They were just mixing shit together. They're just fuck it. Let's do it all in one time. So, that's as far as it went, description-wise. But, It was something. Mostly because he was a burglar and he was wearing like a hoodie and then like super short shorts. It was weird.
I feel like he always wears those though. I mean, he's Tyson Kidd.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
He like walks around listening to Aloe Black, who's Beats by Dre, and like just dresses like a burglar and everything. But he's really super polite because he's Canadian.
I don't know. They had. There were a few matches. There was really nothing overly important.
Yeah.
They had the Ascension toward the end of the show, defeat a couple nobodies. The Daniel Bryan came out. Oh, yeah, as far as Daniel Bryan coming out, the big thing with that is that Stephanie McMahon came out and talked about how, he worked his way up to an A-plus player, and then he fucked it all up, needed a bunch of surgeries, and couldn't last and all this stuff.
She gave him DVD?
And then the last thing, she gave him her fitness DVD, which is funny that she gave him her fitness DVD, not Triple H's. But she said that the last thing she remembered, and they showed the video, was Kane just tearing ass on him. This was before he left, after the stuff with his dad and everything. He had to take time off anyway, and then they came up with the injury. And they getting married and all that. Kane comes back out, tosses him into a set of stairs. Well, first, Bryan, though, goes on the offense. He comes out of the ring wailing on Kane. Kane tosses him to the stairs, pulls him apart, picks him up to tombstone him. Bryan flips off his shoulders, slams him into the ring post, and then just goes at him. The refs pull him apart. Bryan breaks free from the refs and goes back at Kane. So it was a nice change off to that. Of course, last time we saw Kane had a mask and hair and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And now he's just got a suit.
Well, because he's corporate now.
He's corporate Kane.
Corporate. You can't go to board meetings wearing a mask.
So that set up their match for SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, which was cool. Then finally, they play the Macho Man induction video. Fully announcing him as the first person in the class of 2015. And let's face it, it doesn't matter who they have the rest of the day. He's going to be the most important person in the 2015 class.
Which is why when we Sting this year. We Sting next year in Texas. That's where he lives.
Yeah.
So.
Him and Taker, probably.
I don't know.
Now, hang on. You got to remember, though. Last year, they stacked it fucking heavy.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Jake,
true.
Scott Hall, Warrior. That's some big stuff.
Mr. T.
He loves his mama.
Yeah.
On Arbor Day and on Veterans Day.
Whenever they first announced, like TMZ and all that was reporting the Macho Man thing earlier today, that there was talk. Apparently, it was the announcement was either going to be Macho Man or Ray Stevens for the Hall of Fame.
That's not the singer Ray Stevens. That's the the tag team partner of Pat Patterson, I believe, right? Yeah.
Ray the Crippler Stevens.
So, and that's the thing. I feel like he'll probably go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's not the first guy you announce.
Usually they have like a really old classic wrestler.
Yeah.
And he's a big name. Not compared to Macho Man, but he's a big... people know him,
Yeah, well, the thing is, tickets for the Hall of Fame go on sale this coming Saturday. They haven't announced the whole... They want people... People will buy those tickets based on the fact that Macho Man is there. And, sadly, sort of, not for WWE, but it's like... I think it's another reason Hulk Hogan was picked to induct him is because they can say, oh, well, you come to the Hall of Fame, it's going to be Macho Man's induction, you're going to get to see Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true.
That's true. Macho Man should have been inducted while he's still alive. It should have been done a long time ago, and I don't know why it wasn't. I'm pretty sure there's not a good reason at all why it didn't happen, but it's kind of bullshit.
Well, I mean, if going by Lanny, his brother, it's because Macho Man wanted the whole family inducted.
Yeah.
His wishes were that.
They sure did. They did the whole Funk family.
Yeah, but to be...
Both of them are NWA champions.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to... Like, I like the Genius and all that, but it's just like... The Funks as a family are like the Von Erichs.
That's true.
Like, they're heavily important.
And I think the whole Von Erich
I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Macho Man, his brother and his dad were both wrestlers, but
wasn't his dad a little bit bigger than his brother? But it was just older.
Yeah.
Angelo
It was just
Papa
farther back.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those deals where Macho Man is just stratosphere, compared to the two.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I
true.
still think they could have done it.
Yeah.
But I understand why they didn't. You know. Yeah. However, as we've talked about before, Coco Beware is in it, right?
Coco Beware is in the Hall of Fame, yeah.
Yeah, so Coco Beware is in it. I mean, Gilbert could be in the Hall of Fame.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Who knows?
Fandango.
Hey, you give that guy some time.
Fandango right now, I think, has the undefeated streak at WrestleMania. He beat Jericho, right?
He beat Jericho.
And he didn't wrestle at this.
No, he didn't.
No, so Fandango's undefeated at WrestleMania. New streak. On right now. The Fandango streak. The dance line. Get the dance line.
Miz? Is Miz still?
Oh, that's good. Well, I think
Miz is.
He was still not the Andre.
Well, that doesn't count. Yeah. They don't count.
Yeah, that's just like they don't count it for Rusev.
Well, Rusev's big thing now is he's not been pinned. He's been disqualified. But yeah. Rusev also is in the Rumble.
Yeah. Rusev's going to be in the Rumble. Bray gave this weird cryptic message that we assume is he's going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah.
And then Ambrose is going to be in the Rumble now. Yes, a lot of Rumble entrants named tonight, I guess. Well, sort of. I mean, really, out of 30, not a lot have been named, considering it's a couple weeks away.
There's not a lot of surprises either, though.
It's just going to be... Well, when they originally said it was going to be 40, super stoked. You're going to get NXT guys, you're going to get legends, you're going to get everybody. You might even get somebody just totally out... You might even get a Ring of Honor guy. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But 30, you're going to get the guys that you see every
I'd say we'll still get an NXT guy. I'd say that'll still happen.
Yeah.
I'd say either Adrian Neville or Sami Zayn.
I think it'll be Adrian Neville, because if it's like last year, Bo Dallas and Rusev, and they both come up, and Neville, the way they're talking like he's about on his way, so I think Neville will be the one.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be Mighty Mouse.
That'd be a time to try out that gimmick, because they don't have to explain. They come in so quick in the Rumble that if he came down and jumped in, nobody knew who the fuck he was or what was going on.
Nobody care.
As long as he does something crazy, like, it might intrigue people enough to want to find out. And they could gauge crowd reaction that way, too. So, I mean, it might be a thing. But you couldn't have him... That's the thing, though. If you have him in the Rumble and you're going to change his gimmick, you couldn't have him as Adrian Neville in the Rumble.
Sure.
You would have to already change it, because if you show him that quick and then change it, people are going to be wondering what the fuck it is.
Yep.
Yeah. But, moving on to the other biggest thing that's going to happen at the Rumble, pretty much this was the end of the show, main event kind of thing. They had a contract signing for the WWE World Heavyweight Title match, the triple threat between Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Seth Rollins. This, which, like all contract signings, broke down into a big fight.
Yep. And for the second time in a row that Brock Lesnar has been at a contract signing, well, I don't know if it's the second time in a row, but almost a year to the day, he got put through the table.
Yep.
This time AA'd. Last time he got stabbed in the hand with a pin by The Undertaker and chokeslammed through the table.
That's how you do it, yo.
Yep.
Yeah. Isn't this the first time in about a year he's spoken to?
Yeah, he actually did a backstage segment with Rollins as well, where it was all him talking.
Yeah, I mean, like he doesn't show up to wrestle. When he does show up, he doesn't bring a belt, and he doesn't speak. He's the best champion ever.
Tonight he had the belt. He showed up 3 times during the show and talked twice.
Yeah.
So that was all the Brock Lesnar we get for the rest of the year, besides when he drops the belt, right? I mean, that's
probably all we'll see till Rumble. I doubt we'll see him next week. Unless, and that's the thing, it's all rumor shit, so if they're going to do the deal where he is going to drop it at Rumble, they're getting his appearances out of the way.
It could be.
Which means he shows up at Raw.
It could be.
Which means he might show up at Fastlane to get his rematch. And that'd be it.
That'd be it.
Possibly. We're talking about him dropping the belt. Rollins had a perfect opportunity tonight.
Yeah. This is one of those things where the storyline and setup of wrestling, we know it's fixed. We know all that.
Wait, what?
yeah. Matt, you're not on the show next week.
Oh.
I don't want to break your heart anymore. Because I'm about to say some shit. They set up these arbitrary rules, but they're kind of, it's all fixed, but you gotta abide by these rules kind of to break that, to make yourself out of your head, go out of the thinking about that part.
But the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. One of those is that the Money in the Bank briefcase can be cashed in on the champion any fucking time.
Yep.
You know when the best time to cash it in? When they're knocked the fuck out through a table and you've done your finishing move on them. Seth Rollins curb stomped John Cena as Brock Lesnar attempted to climb out of the table debris. Seth Rollins curb stomped the champion. There wasn't a ref out there, but as Hoagie mentioned while we were watching it, Triple H is out there who's counted many a 3 count. Seth Rollins should have cashed in. He could have went into the Rumble as the champion. He should have cashed in right then. He could have had J&J security, pull out John Cena, flip Brock over, pin that son of a bitch. You know?
That's true. The only thing I can see why in his head he wouldn't do it is because at Rumble he basically has 2 chances to win the belt.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that works for that. And he mentioned that in the thing. I almost feel like they, on Monday night, need to have him come on there and explain to everyone
why he didn't do it.
Why he didn't do it. Because it's like, well, you know, you can... It's like, well, I can either cash in now or, you know, I might be able to cash in there. It's like shit in one hand, wish in the other, see which one fills up faster. You know, like maybe you should just cash that shit in.
I always felt like in a situation where if I were a wrestler with the Money in the Bank, what my dream, ideal situation would be is put me in a match with the champion. And then, well, I start the match, I get a chair, I beat the hell out of the champion. Get disqualified. Who the fuck cares? I have the briefcase. Cash in briefcase, pin the champion. That's
work.
I mean, that would to me. I want to see somebody do that.
Yeah.
Genius. I'm surprised Edge didn't do it because I mean, he was the kind of guy that would do that kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, if Brock was around, I mean, you could conceivably hit him with a fucking car, get J&J security to drag him to the ring, grab a ref and cash in.
Yeah.
On his fucking limp body. Like, there's all kinds of ways to do it and not fail. Unless you're Damien Sandow, you're going up against John Cena, in which case, even crippled, John Cena will fucking destroy you.
Damien Sandow hit him with a car. He beat him with a ball bat. He used a chainsaw on him. He cut one of his arms off and beat John Cena with it.
Yes, Cena had one arm.
Yeah.
Actually, he was one armed at the time.
Yeah. He beat him with the briefcase until it broke. The briefcase was just broken. Which that's why maybe he broke the contract.
Maybe
it's like the magic's gone.
But I don't know. It's I guess one drawback too. If Rollins cashed in now is at Rumble, he would be the champion going against Lesnar and John Cena.
In which case you get yourself immediately.
He's pretty much losing that belt.
You get yourself counted out. That's what you do.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what's to say that that's not how it goes with Brock? Sage gets a chair like he did Big Show and just beats the fuck out of both of them.
Well, because I feel like Brock Lesnar, the character, is kind of like a Brock Smash type guy. And he's not going to be smart enough to figure out he get. Well, it's like the whole.
Well, it wouldn't be that scenario. Like not doing it to get disqualified.
Oh,
he just
do it.
Fuck it, get a chair, beat him to death. Like,
well, he did almost Kamisho that chair last year at Rumble.
Yeah,
so.
And at his match, he just got disqualified instantly and just kept beating him and beating him and beating him.
That's true. This is as far as I care about this match at Rumble. I really hope that Lesnar doesn't come out of it the champion. Yeah. That's as far as I care.
But I'll tell you what, if he does, we've got a very, very interesting lead up to WrestleMania.
True.
Yeah. God, I hope he don't, though.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him at WrestleMania fight Roman Reigns for not the title and Reigns go over. Because I don't feel like Roman Reigns has earned the WrestleMania title win. Sure, give him a win at WrestleMania, that's fine. He's not earned a belt at WrestleMania. Bryan has. Bryan's who people want. Hell, Ambrose is who people want. Barrett. There are 4 guys. Just off the top of my head, I'd rather see win the belt at WrestleMania than Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Well, Barrett's not going to be on that list. He just won the Intercontinental belt.
Hey. It's clipped on gold, man.
I don't know. I guess my ideal WrestleMania title match, if it couldn't include Bryan, would be Rollins versus Reigns versus Ambrose.
That'd be really good.
That'd be
really, really good.
And you have the Shield go at it for the title.
You know, there was talk of the Shield kind of like...
And then if Reigns won it because Ambrose and fucking Rollins go at it for the whole time, you know, you're not going to be able to fault it as bad.
There was talk for a while at the Rumble of the Shield sort of reuniting in the Rumble. Mm-hmm. And I guess you might see a Reigns and Ambrose type thing.
Yeah, it's not one of those. Yeah, because they're like, oh, it's going to be like DX. They're going to get back together. And it's like, well, they're going to have to fucking change up Rollins' alliances a little bit before they do that. He's too far towards the maniacally evil thing right now. Hell, he mentioned destroying the Shield tonight.
I can see it being a thing where the Authority turns on him, and for whatever reason, the Authority puts them all in the same situation where it would be so convoluted, it would be dumb. But
I'll tell you who we're forgetting about, though.
Who?
Randy Orton. Viper.
True.
Out of nowhere.
He's going to come out of nowhere because everybody's going to forget about him.
True.
He'll probably be one of the surprises.
Yeah.
That's who I want to see beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
He got that deviated septum worked on, and there's going to be about 2 or 3 weeks, I think, for that.
Yep.
So he
Rumble.
might show up in Rumble.
I feel like he will. He seems like the kind of guy that would do that. Mm-hmm. And with deviated septums, it's nose, right? Like,
yeah. So. Probably from where he's broke so many fucking times. Probably just make it where he can't breathe and shit. So
yeah, so
make it where his sinus infections are bad and stuff. So
a person at my work had deviated septum. So yeah, it's not that big of a deal. That like they went in, doctor popped it, whatever, and it was like a week later they were fine. But that'll be a match I don't want to see. Mm-hmm. I don't think Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar has not been done that many times.
Yeah. Maybe a long time ago, but I can't recall.
And I can believe Randy Orton doing it because Randy Orton's fast enough and devious enough that I can see him beating Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of time till then. I mean, Fastlane will be between then, and that's really going to show what WrestleMania is going to end up as.
Yeah. Probably more so than Rumble because Rumble they can have someone win the Rumble and then lose their title shot at pay-per-view.
True.
They've done it before.
Well, the thing is they might. Oh, God, I don't know. That may be what they have to do. Just to keep the people from fucking turning on. Maybe they let Brian win it, and then he somehow fucking loses it. I don't know.
Well, people shit on Rumble last year. It was bad.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll let that happen 2 years in a row. Because Rumble is one of the big pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But that has nothing really to do with Raw, other than the fact that Raw is sort of leading up to the Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, right now, this week, Raw, next week especially. Which next week we'll have a whole segment about the Royal Rumble and what we think is going to happen and leading up to it. And we'll go over the matches and all that stuff. So we'll probably rehash all of this again. So just remember it because you're going to hear it a second time.
Try. Only different people will say it.
But I mean, Raw tonight. I didn't hate it. It just
wasn't that good.
It was a lot of just furthering what they've been doing. And, but hey, fuck it, because you know what? They officially announced that Macho Man Randy Savage will be inducted into the 2015 Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
So, there you have it for keeping it raw.
And now, the gimmick table.
Welcome to the very first edition of the gimmick table. This is the segment where we're going to cover things you can buy, whether that be apps, video games, t-shirts, hats, whatever. Not figures, though. We've got that taken care of. Tonight, we're going to cover something that you can get on the cheap that's brand new and is surprisingly awesome. Hoagie Masters owns it, and he's going to tell us all about it.
Okay, folks, we're going to talk about it's pretty much their version of WWE. It's New Japan. They have started something called it's called NJPW World, which that is actually what you type in if you go to the site njpwworld.com to find pretty much. Regardless, you have to go to that site, sign up. That's where all the content is and everything.
So this is New Japan's wrestling network.
Yeah,
like 24-hour a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. The price of it, it's 999 yen, which equals out to about $860 American. So it's actually cheaper than the WWE network.
But there's It's got a weird way of how you have to watch it, though, right?
Yes, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. If you have a laptop or like a desktop or anything like that, all you have to do is go to that site, enter your login and everything, which I'll show you how. I'll teach you how to log in and everything. Make an account here in just a second. Just log in and then you can click whatever you want to watch. Mm-hmm. If you're doing it from a tablet or a smartphone, you have to download an app called NJPW World Player. It's a free app, and so whenever you go to click on a video on the website, it will automatically connect you to the app.
Okay, so it'll open the app.
It'll open the app up to play the video that you're wanting. The content on it is really cool because it's going to have all their new shows. It's got Wrestle Kingdom 9 that just happened. The show that happened the night after they did, and every other show on going forward they're going to have is going to be on this.
How far back does the content go?
From what I've seen, it goes. There's the farthest back show there is from 1973.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. Yeah.
And originally, I was watching a video trying to figure out how to sign up for it and everything. And there's a guy made a video on YouTube about it. And I don't know if they've taken it down permanently or they're going to put it back up. But there was like New Japan TV shows they have had. And it's like a special thing. It's like New Japan Classics, where it's got like 3 or 4 matches. There are like 76 episodes on it. And some of those, he said, had like Hulk Hogan on it, Andre the Giant, a lot of the legends.
Yeah.
And stuff are
now,
on there.
This website that you sign up on, it's all in Japanese, correct?
Yes, but I know for a fact on Internet Explorer and like a browser on a smartphone, it will not translate. If you use Google Chrome, it will translate what you need to do. Like pretty much the most important stuff, except for like what different things are, like live shows, classics, things like that. But it's pretty easy to tell on that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the live symbol is, but the ring-shaped symbol is for the classics.
Okay.
That's what you click on. One of the upsides and / downsides to it is, say like you just wanted to watch a certain match from, I believe it's the World Tag League. From World Tag League up, you have to watch the entire show.
Okay.
You can fast forward it, rewind it, whatever. But you can't just like click and watch some match.
You can't pick a individual matches.
But everything else that I've seen so far, you click on the event and it will give you a list of every match on that show. You just click it, the match you want, and watch it.
So, like, if you want to watch like a match from Wrestle Kingdom 1,
yeah,
you can just watch a match.
Yeah, like I watched the other night. I watched from Wrestle Kingdom 8. It was the main event between Tanahashi and Nakamura.
So say you wanted to be like, oh, I just want to watch all of Carl Anderson's matches because he's been like, I think in the last 7 Wrestle Kingdoms. Yeah. You can just go through each one, picking his match.
Yeah, just go to each one and then find him. Because it'll probably have him, like, if you use the Google Chrome, it will translate the listings of the matches.
Or if you want to watch like all the Tanahashi, the non-main events, you can just go through all those.
Yeah. Which I've done a little bit of that. But going back to all the audio is in Japanese. But I did read they are looking into an English commentary.
To dub over?
Yeah, to dub over it and also like the newer events.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So, well, I'd heard that they are planning on, I guess, quote unquote, like going mainstream, which I assume means just coming into the American market. Yeah. And if they do that, I mean, they're going to obviously have to have somebody going over top.
But yeah, the sign up on it, it's pretty easy to do. Once you go to the website, a pop-up will more likely appear. It did for me anyway.
Asking if you want to buy Viagra?
No.
No.
This is better than Viagra, I think.
Okay.
But, especially if it's the first time going to the site, it should do it. It'll be a pop-up. And it'll be all in Japanese, though. There'll be like a red button. You click on the red button, and it will take you to the sign-up page. As long as you're using a thing like Google Chrome, it will translate the fill-in spots.
Okay.
So, like, all you got to enter is your name, your email. You have to make a password. It asks you if you want to make, like, a nickname thing for it, which I did. I figured I had to do it. I think you actually have to do it. Then after that, it takes you to a page where you enter your credit card information. If you you might want to call your bank before you do this.
Okay.
This is literally on a forum I was reading on. Certain banks will deny this when you purchase it.
Because it's a foreign
it's an international transaction.
So it's like a security thing. They'll block it.
If, for instance, once you sign up, if like a couple hours later or the next day it does not work, check your email because they may have sent you something. If not, call your bank.
Yeah.
They may have kicked it out. I was worried about this. Thankfully for me, it did not happen.
Well, my bank is an old man in the back alley, so I don't think he'll have a problem with it.
Yeah. But that's pretty it on the sign-up part of it. It's pretty simple. Once you sign up, you're good to go. And, I mean, the quality on it is excellent. I've not had... And it's not blurry or nothing. It's just beautiful quality.
Yeah, I mean, it streams clean. Like,
yeah. On my smartphone, I've watched it. On a laptop, I've watched it. I'm really hoping they're going to get an app for like Xbox and PlayStation and stuff like that, so I can watch it on my TV.
Now, like the 70s stuff. Have you watched any of it?
Not yet.
Okay.
I haven't got that far.
I was wondering if it was in color, if it's black and white. It doesn't matter.
I would say 70s you're going to get color.
Okay.
I would think.
Yeah, because I've just watched here recent stuff. I think, I'm trying to think, 2012 is the farthest I've gone back so far.
And the other thing I was going to ask is, like, what has their name? Is it like their name written out, or is it like kanji of their name? So, like, does it say Tanahashi? Or does it have like
sometimes yes and sometimes no.
I would say most of the time the Japanese wrestlers' names are going to be in kanji.
Yeah.
But I would think like
yeah.
Ken Anderson or Carl Anderson, and then some of those guys with American names would be.
Yeah.
But it also, beside the match listing is a picture.
Okay.
So you can see who the guys are in the match.
Okay.
Because like I was watching when Nakamura beat Balak Fale for the Intercontinental title earlier today, it didn't have like really any of their names on the listing. I just knew what it was by looking at it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. There was something else I was about to say. My mind was like...
Did you gaze directly at Nakamura? Because I feel that's a bad idea. I feel like you should avert your eyes when you look at Nakamura.
Now, I will say this. When I was watching the main event from last year's Wrestle Kingdom, he has a badass entrance.
Yeah?
He has like these,
better than the Crown and John Cage?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
He had like strippers on stripper poles dancing. He had this woman dancing with him, and the fire was shooting out and everything.
Oh, the
awesome.
woman?
No, it's like on the stage.
Okay.
It was awesome.
So you had that, and then you had Tanahashi playing an air guitar?
Yeah, he actually had a guy with a guitar.
An actual guitar?
Yeah, there was a guy out there with him.
Were they battling? Air guitar versus real
guitar?
guitar?
They was playing with each other.
Oh, okay.
And but the only bad part about like
Japan, man.
I guess because he's a legend over there, they had Stan Hansen.
Yeah, the leg.
Yeah, in the ring with him. And
he close on the fuck out of you.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a very, very good investment. If you're a fan of this type of wrestling, I encourage you to get it.
Now it's monthly fee.
It's a monthly fee, yes.
Okay. Now, do you know if it comes out like when you pay for it, like the network does, or is it like the beginning of the month it comes out?
I'm not 100% sure on that yet.
Okay.
I believe.
You've only had it for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I've only had it for. I've had it since Thursday.
Yeah, but they took the original fee out.
Yeah, that has been taken out. and say it's still working good for me on my end.
Okay. And it's NewJapanWorld.com?
Yes, that is the name of the site. Like I said, everything...
Well, it's not just New Japan World.
It's NJPWWorld.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And you should use Google Chrome because Chrome has a built-in translator.
Yes, it will translate for you.
And earlier today, I was searching. Granted, I did a half-ass search in the Apple App Store for the New Japan World, and nothing came up. But granted, I also didn't really search through 20 pages of things with those initials. So this might not be available on iOS yet. However, if it is, that means it would just flash right up to Apple TV, and you can watch this thing on your TV.
Yeah.
And it's going to look fucking great.
Yeah. It's just one more step.
And I'm sure if it's not now, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, eventually soon. It's only been out for about a month now.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to add with the all Japanese thing, in case some of our viewers may be wondering, no, the English commentary version of Wrestle Kingdom 9 is not on there.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about that.
It is not on there.
Yeah.
When you click on the Wrestle Kingdom 9 link for the event, there are 2 videos.
Mm-hmm.
The top one is the event itself. The bottom one is an interesting thing where it shows them like constructing like the ring and the setup and everything.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like an hour long.
I would actually like to see how they spell that.
Yeah, it's like an hour long.
It was a huge piece.
I was curious what it was, and I happened to look, but yeah, like I said, I'm not for sure about the live show. Like if it's the newer content, it's gonna be straight up live, or it's gonna be like after it's over.
Yeah.
It's going to be on there.
Simply because you've not had it long enough to...
Yeah, I'm not seeing a real live event yet.
And also, they don't do live events like WWE does, right? It's like once a month or something, isn't it?
Well, they've been doing them fairly often.
Oh, okay.
They've got 2 shows coming up in about a week or 2.
Okay, I thought it was more like a once a month.
I
think it's kind of like WWE in that. Like, their big ones are once a month, but they do... Like, they've done a couple shows since Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay.
So...
Yeah.
Well, I know like pro wrestling's all over the place in Japan, so I just didn't know if it was like, I don't know. I guess I didn't know. I thought New Japan was more of a toy.
Because I was want to say it was like maybe the night after Wrestle Kingdom or a couple nights after. Saw the pic of Nakamura with his face busted open where he had defended the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah, I believe it's
and
probably the night after.
Just dripping. Look like his nose like his nose might have been broken.
I think the only person who can beat Nakamura is Nakamura.
Maybe.
Talking about broken, the infamous Yoshitatsu getting his neck broken is on there.
By the Styles Clash.
Yes, I watched it.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes. If you've not heard this, Yoshitatsu, who's in WWE, has recently suffered a broken neck. And it's being blamed on AJ Styles. Because of his finish of the Styles Clash. Watching this was a very gruesome thing because you knew right when he did it. Because he tucked his chin and everything.
Tucked his head forward.
Yeah, he tucked his head forward.
Which is the reverse of what you do to take the Styles Clash.
Yeah. And he just landed right on it. After which AJ pinned him, got the win. Jeff Jarrett was out there with him, with AJ. Jeff Jarrett gets in the ring, just smacks the crap out of Yoshitatsu like 3 or 4 times. You know,
and this is conceivably, if their descriptions are correct, this is Yoshitatsu with a broken neck getting slapped by Jeff Jarrett.
Yes, and then Jeff Jarrett proceeds to get his guitar out and smashes it over Yoshitatsu's head.
Jesus. So, it's so insane.
No, it's conceivable they didn't know his neck was broken.
Yeah, they didn't know. I don't think yet.
That is conceivable.
However, Yoshitatsu does speak English. So...
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean...
And when I watched it, Jarrett just went along with it, kept going with it. AJ seemed slightly concerned.
Okay.
He didn't beat him up or nothing. He just kind of held him.
Because we were talking that they were doing all that to him after. It almost made me think that the whole Yoshitatsu thing is just storyline. Like it's just they're in Japan, they're making it real. He's off TV, he's and now they can pump. Oh, AJ Styles had broken people's necks with the Styles Clash, and then eventually Yoshitatsu comes back from a broken neck to fight.
Which they might do anyway.
They might do anyway, unless it's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Which, for all intents and purposes, as far as I know, he has a broken neck.
Yeah.
Which means that oh man, if that is the case, which conceivably it is, that's brutal that he took the guitar shot and the
guitar shot's what broke Jake's neck. It messed his neck up. Now that was a real guitar versus a prop guitar, but still, I mean, it's still.
Yeah. But then too, is how propped are Jeff Jarrett's guitars?
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, because
they're those big acoustic guitars. I mean, they might not be propped at all. They might just be how they bust.
Maybe.
No.
He might buy cheaper guitars than Honky Tonk.
All right. Well, looks like we got ourselves an experiment, boys.
All right. Developmental Talent Mythbusters.
We've got to get some acoustic guitars and somebody willing to take a broken neck.
Hey, I got a metal pit in my head. I'll do it.
There we go.
I've noticed a lot of people now saying that AJ Styles isn't safe to work with because he's broken people's necks.
Yeah.
He's been doing the Styles Clash for probably 20 years. That's pretty good. I mean, he's not broken people's necks on a regular basis. He's broken two people's necks, and it's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the long length of things, it's just unfortunate that they were this close together.
Well, plus there are people who are like, oh, it looks like he's been getting reckless. And it's like, well, unless you're wrestling him, I don't think you'd really know if he's being reckless or not.
Right. And I think he's slowing his style down. Because we noticed, I noticed at Wrestle Kingdom, he uses a calf killer now. Which he has started using TNA.
Yeah.
But it's a sign that he realizes, hey, I can only move fast and burst now. Mm-hmm. So he's become more of a grounded wrestler. And the guy's a professional. He's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Mm-hmm. He's not known for breaking people's necks. So, it's...
I know we had talked about it, not on the show or anything, but during the matches during Wrestle Kingdom 9, they had shown, a set of numbers. 160. I finally figured out what that means.
Okay.
The 1 means one fall, and the 60 or 30 or something like that means
time limit.
That's a time limit.
Oh, okay.
Because it's on a bunch of the matches, and I actually got to looking.
Okay.
And that's what
makes
it actually
sense,
means.
because, they generally announce that one fall, 60-second time limit
or
whatever. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
But, yeah, it's a wonderful app. Wonderful thing to get. If you're a fan of this type of wrestling, please do get it.
Well, for a long time, the elite thing to do as a wrestling fan was I'll watch Japanese wrestling. You can't watch it because you just can't, but I'll watch it. Mm-hmm. Well, this takes that away. It takes away elitism, which I'm all for.
Yeah. It also takes away the need to hunt this stuff down.
Yeah.
Which
you can get it legally, and you're paying, and it's not even like you're paying someone for it. You're paying New Japan directly to watch their videos.
Yeah, if they overdub English,
they are making the money, which means they make this money. They can afford to branch out to, the U.S.
Yeah, I would be happy if they subtitled it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, going back to trying to find their content and everything, I actually read the other day that they are in the process of trying to pretty much take down things like YouTube matches and stuff and things like that, trying to take it down because of this.
Which WWE did also. They did all their stuff.
Yeah. New Japan's going to have a tougher time with it, though. Just because they're not here in the States.
Well, and they don't have the legal team backing them, I'd say. But if New Japan takes off, then maybe we get an All Japan one, or a Noah, or whoever owns the FMW stuff that could be out there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, the FMW stuff where it's over, I wonder if maybe that could, they could bring that in, like how WWE's network has ECW. If they could bring, if they had the tape library.
Yeah, I wonder who has it.
Because I'll tell you, I don't know why you wouldn't want to own it. You got Hayabusa and Cactus Jack and Terry Funk,
Or it seems like New Japan has a working relationship with Noah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll have some Noah content on there. Or Dragon Gate.
Which, Ring of Honor has something similar to this. The only difference is they have yet to do it where, they have a show. Mm-hmm. and right after it's over, it's not on there.
Yeah.
For you to watch. If you're a member, you have to pay.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like
they're a member that you pay. Yeah, the membership you pay, you get the weekly TV show early.
Yeah.
You get it quick. But their special events are all still special events. You still have to pay the iPay-per-view price, which that and the fact that the Ring of Honor isn't on an app, it's just browser.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things holding me back from buying the Ring of Honor membership.
I wonder if that's not a Sinclair thing, though, where they don't want to give away too much of the stuff that is going to be considerably making them money because of cable rights.
That's true. I mean, they don't have 40-plus years of stuff to post.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, talking about the player and everything, if you're doing it on a laptop or a desktop computer, it'll just have like a little box. Then there's a button that'll make it full screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything.
So kind of like YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, I said, on some full screens it's all blurry and everything. Not this.
Yeah.
Clear as day.
Cool. Nice.
And the players, just because they probably have some kind of proprietary file system that way you can't steal their files off their app.
Yeah. Plus phones playing off of browser stuff always look like garbage usually anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
That allows it to be full screen and fit the tablet or the phone.
It changes the format of it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that. I mean, I'm about 90% sure that Apple doesn't have this right now, and I'm really hoping that it gets it soon.
Oh, Roku or something can get it.
Yeah.
So I thought I had read that it was on iTunes.
Yeah.
That you could get it. I don't know though.
I've not found it yet, but talking about it this much has really made me want to hunt it down. So.
Yeah. Say that if you have any trouble, those signing up and everything, a lot of people have made videos on YouTube. You can check out if you need any additional help. Say it's pretty simple as long as you're using like Google Chrome with the translator. It's pretty.
Firefox might do it too.
I've not tried that yet, but
I don't know. I know Chrome just has built-in Chrome
Yeah.
Translate. So.
Firefox may have you may have to click on something to get
It's
it
probably
to
a plug-in.
translate.
Yeah.
But, so awesome. So that was. I mean, this is our first gimmick table segment. I felt like we picked a really good subject for this, as we're all really high on New Japan right now, and probably will be from now on. So that's what you get for coming out to Wrestle Kingdom 9, you fucking bastards.
Yeah, I know. I got like 4 or 5 new favorite wrestlers now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
Yeah.
Gotta buy Nakamura shirts and shit.
Nakamura and
I've
Tanahashi
seen,
and
I'll tell you right now, I've seen the New Japan shirts and jackets and shit. Oh, they are nice.
they are.
So fucking nice.
My Tanahashi air guitar is in the mail.
Is it?
Yeah, $79.99. Yeah. But hey,
Hey,
it's Tanahashi's.
there you go. It's rarefied air.
The big finish.
And that's pretty much our show for this week. You'll notice it's a little bit shorter this time around. We've had a couple long ones the last couple weeks, so I figured we'd give everybody a break before we get back into that action. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview with Matt Sydal, who we totally appreciate for taking the time with us.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, and from Mark Briscoe for being Mark Briscoe. Talked about everything pretty much. The only thing that we really didn't talk about, which really wasn't brought up on Raw this week either, but that we totally noticed, is the continuing of the announce team changes.
Yeah. Jerry Lawler missed last week's Raw for diverticulitis, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
And they replaced him with Booker T. And I guess they decided going forward that Lawler will do SmackDowns and pay-per-views, and Booker T will do Raws. Mm-hmm. Which is, I mean, it's fine.
When I heard about it, I was kind of indifferent to it, mostly because I think of Booker T's commentating the same way I think of Jerry Lawler's. I feel like he just says kind of some things, and everyone else kind of carries it.
But this is different things.
That's definitely the way it was tonight. My favorite part was Booker T saying Somalian and then just laughing his ass off.
Yeah, he laughs at himself quite a bit.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it wasn't bad, and it does change it up. That's the thing. It does make it something new.
Yeah. I kind of wish they just go to JBL and Cole, but my favorite thing that Booker T used to say a lot was shucky ducky quack quack.
Yeah.
Oh, he will say it.
Yeah, he's funny.
Give him time. He'll say it. He says it on Twitter all the time.
But they're phasing out Lawler is what they're doing. Because they don't want the older talents on the road as much. I would like Flair. They won't let Flair wrestle. They don't want Hogan to wrestle for health concerns. And I mean, let's face it, they don't want one of these guys to die on TV.
Yeah, and SmackDown's taped.
Yeah.
So if something happens, I mean, God forbid that, but also him having to miss a show for a health concern.
Yeah.
They can fill in or dub over or do whatever they need to do to make it sound correct.
He come in like on the weekend. Oh, I missed Tuesday, but I came in the weekend to record his audio then. No one know.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, plus there's this week, NXT moves to Wednesday and SmackDown moves to Thursday. They've announced the Daniel Bryan match against Kane is their big pull-in for SmackDown. NXT is just going to be nothing but main events Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And then, so part of it for SmackDown, I feel like, is the new night, and hey, Jerry Lawler's on here now. Well, they put Jim Ross in there for a while, and it shook it up a little bit. So, like, you know, it'll work for them either way. Like,
And it also means now that you can watch wrestling Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sometimes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
And Fridays, gotta have something.
Is it Impact Fridays or is it Thursdays?
No, Impact's Friday now.
Yeah.
Impact's Friday.
Impact's Friday on Destination America, which we can't watch that. So really, yes, Sunday through Thursday.
Yeah. But I mean, conceivably, you got Impact
50% of households can watch Impact on Sundays.
on Fridays.
On Fridays.
Yeah, and then we can watch Ring of Honor on Saturdays at some point in time.
Yes.
Because of our Fox affiliate carries it when they
We also got Lucha Underground on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays.
And NXT on Wednesdays. Yeah. Thankfully, with the network, you can watch NXT after it airs.
Also, thanks to Hoagie, we now know that we watch New Japan Wrestling any day we want to.
And we probably will be a lot. In fact, we'll probably be way less prepared for next week's show because we'll have spent so much time in the land of the rising sun.
Trying to be more like Nakamura because he's awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's right. I'm going to shave my head into a permed mohawk.
I'm going to practice my air guitar or my Tanahashi guitar.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Check out FreakSugar.com. Check out FreakSugar on YouTube, where a lot of our interviews the actual videos are posted, so you can see Mark Briscoe being crazy as we talk to Matt Sydal.
It's a lot funnier to see it happen.
It is a lot funnier to see it happen. It makes a lot more sense.
I was right in front of I was right behind the camera, and I saw Briscoe come in, and I was like, what? That's Mark Briscoe.
I, at the time, thought that it was one of the, let's say, alcohol-fueled fans who were hanging around, like trying to get into the camera. And I swear, I almost elbowed him.
That would have been...
I would not be here talking on the mic.
Well, Jay Briscoe was 10 feet away.
That's true.
You would have been killed by the Briscoe brothers.
Yes.
We would have had him filmed, so it would have been great.
It would have been.
But you would have been dead.
Yes, but I could have went out with Lemon Juice McGee takes on the Briscoes in a street fight.
That's true.
Hey, that's some marketing.
That's true.
We've got a lot of fun interviews we're lining up here soon. Although it's not what this show is, we do like bringing them to you when we can. And we're going to bring some very good ones your way. We've got some guests that are going to be on the show with us, just chatting about wrestling as their schedules fit. This is episode 14. We're moving right along. Things are going great. And we thank you all for listening to Developmental Talent.
Thanks for listening to Developmental Talent, but the show doesn't stop here. For more insane ramblings, be sure to check us out on social media. The links are conveniently listed in the text. Also, feel free to send your hatred, praise, and suggestions to developmentaltalentpodcast@gmail.com.